What is up, chat? How's everybody doing tonight? It is midnight, almost 1 a.m. here. So this is a little bit more of a normal streaming time for us. Okay, so what is going on, everybody? We streamed yesterday at like, what time was it? 8 a.m. I don't know. It was extremely early. I need to let the Discord chat know that we are live. That's why it's a little dark right now. There we go. There we go. What's up, C, Blake, Laura? How you guys doing today? Let's get the stream pulled up on my end here. Today we're going to be talking about how to change your perspective of your anxiety and heal from it. That is what we're going to be talking about today. Come one, come all. Let's get some music going. Let's get some pre-stream music going while we wait. Hi, Wood Bro. How are you? I was sleeping at 8 a.m. Sorry I missed it. It's okay, Blake. No problem. That's why we, 9 times out of 10, always upload the streams, right? So you can catch them even if you miss them live. What's up, Gabe? What's up, Slow Jam? How you doing, man? Loving the Halloween graphics. How's it going? It's going good, dude. Yeah, I figured we would change the background a little bit. We would keep it Halloween themed, right? Obviously, but needed to change it up a bit. How's everybody doing today? What'd you guys do today? Let me know. Let me know. Don't be shy. While we're in our pre-stream here, we're going to drop the Discord link for anybody who wants to join us over on Discord. I think we're almost at like 400 members now, so pretty cool. Pretty cool. If you're not familiar with Discord, it's basically just a big fancy chat room. That's one way to put it, right? What's up, Phantom? Well, you were in the right place, dude. We're going to get started in just a minute. We're going to get started in just a minute. Today we're going to be talking about how to change your perspective of anxiety and heal from it. We know that perspective is so important. What is perspective? Perspective is whether or not you're adding second fear. What is second fear? The way that you talk to yourself. The way that you talk to yourself about your situation and symptoms. So that is what we're going to be tackling today. Miss you on Twitch. Yeah, I know. I need to get back to Twitch streams. I really do. Just finished work. The good part of the day is just starting now. Well, welcome to the stream, C. It's good to see you. Sam, long time no see, Wonder Bro. How you doing? What's up, Sam? Welcome to the stream. I'm doing good, man. Hope everybody out there is doing well. All right, guys. All right, guys. There we go. Woo. Okay. We're going to get going in just a second. Just a second, please be patient. All right, you guys. Let's get this stream going. We're about 6 minutes in. Let's get the point of this stream knocked out. How to change your perspective of anxiety and heal from it. So as I just said, perspective is so important because perspective is going to determine whether or not you're adding second fear, right? And what is second fear? Second fear is your perspective. Second fear is how you're talking to yourself about your symptoms. It's how you view your symptoms, right? So we have first fear, which is the symptoms as the result of a tired nervous system, right? As the anxiety state, as Dr. Claire Weeks would call it. And this is our first fear. We can't help that we're experiencing symptoms, right? We can't help that. But then we have second fear. And second fear is under our control. What is second fear? It is our perspective. So that's why changing your perspective is so important. Now, understand this before we get into it too deep. There is a huge difference between your own perspective, which is the way that you choose to view your anxiety symptoms, and negative intrusive thoughts. You can't help a negative intrusive thought from coming. You don't have to entertain it, which is obviously what we recommend here, but you can't help it from coming, right? At least not at first. This happens in time. But your perspective is nothing like a negative intrusive thought. Your perspective is the way that you consciously choose to view your anxiety symptoms, and it's going to determine whether or not you're adding second fear, whether or not you're fueling the fire of your anxiety. And it comes down to the simple little fact that the brain doesn't know the difference between your imagination and your negative self-talk, your negative inner dialogue, and a real danger. So it's going to give you more anxiety the more second fear you add. And this is why Dr. Claire Weeks stresses how important it is to drop second fear. And to do that, we change our perspective. So that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. How do you go about it? How do you go about changing your perspective? For so long, you've been in this state of second fear, and almost feels automatic. It almost feels automatic when the symptoms come on that you start to fret, that you start to worry, that you start to freak out a bit on the inside, that you start to add all of this negative self-talk, which just, as we just stated, fuels the fire, keeps your sensitized nerves sensitized. So if the habit is so strong to the point that it almost feels automatic, how do we go about changing our perspective if that's so important? A good way to do that when you're experiencing symptoms, especially when they're high, especially when they're in that peaking moment, a good way to do that is to first take a step back, catch yourself if you're automatically adding second fear. This is the first step, because 9 times out of 10 you're in such a bad habit of adding second fear that it will be automatic. So the first step is to take a step back and ask yourself, am I adding second fear? Am I falling into the habit of second fear? And to see that, we look inward and we see if we're adding a lot of negative self-talk. If the answer to that question is yes, okay, this is the habit that we have to break. So the first step to change your perspective is to take a step back in that moment. Take a step back in that moment and ask yourself, am I adding second fear? If the answer to that question is yes, then we know that's the habit we need to break. The next step to changing your perspective of your anxiety and ultimately healing from it, once you have spotted and pointed out that you're adding second fear, is to ask yourself, how do these feelings really feel? We need to look a little bit deeper, okay? Not through the filter of the mind, not through what we've been telling ourselves for all these years. We've made anxiety out to be a monster, okay? But for once, we're actually going to take a step back and ask ourselves, how do these feelings really feel? And you're going to start to observe. And you're going to start to really look at these feelings. I don't mean just kind of glaze over them. I mean really look at them, right? Get right down there and really look at them. What is it that I'm feeling? Where is it in the body, right? Where is it in the body? Is it in my arms? Is it in my stomach, my chest? Is my heart beating fast? Really look at your feelings for what they are. And you have to do that deeply. And I say that because a lot of people hear me say, oh, look at your feelings for what they really are. And they take that kind of like at a surface value, and then they just kind of gloss over their feelings, but they're not really looking at them. They're still up in their head with all this inner dialogue, adding second fear, instead of truly looking. So when I say take a step back and truly observe your feelings so that you can change your perspective, I mean look at them very deeply. I want you to even say out loud what it is that you're feeling. Okay, I feel a little bit of adrenaline in my arms and legs. What is adrenaline? It's energy. I feel a little bit of energy going through my body, or I feel a lot of energy going through my body. So what's so bad about adrenaline? It's just excitement, right? And that's one way to change your perspective. It's not anxiety, it's excitement. The only thing that makes a difference whether or not you're feeling anxiety or excitement, because these two feelings are more or less the same, they're just a body in an aroused state, is the way that you look at it. So again, change your perspective. Take a step back. My heart's beating very fast, okay? Does that necessarily mean anything? I've been cleared by a doctor. Okay, my heart's beating fast. What's so bad about my heart beating fast, right? People's heart beat fast when they go to the gym. What's so bad about this energy I'm feeling? People feel this when they get excited. What's so bad about this feeling or that feeling? So take a step back, right? And truly reflect on how your perspective is causing you to suffer unnecessarily, because your perspective means everything, because your perspective is going to determine whether or not you're adding second fear, as Dr. Claire Weeks calls it. So when I say take a step back and truly look at your feelings, I don't mean to do so in a very quick, rushed way where you're just like, okay, area, blah, 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 and then you get right back into second fear habits, that negative inner dialogue. That's not going to work. I mean, really take a step back and really, really look deeply, okay, at these feelings for what they are. And you will see, okay, firsthand that you have been adding so much second fear all these years with just your perspective. Your perspective is going to determine whether or not you're adding second fear. And that's something you truly need to understand, right? These feelings, I promise you, are not as bad as your mind is making them out to be. These feelings are not nearly as awful as you've been telling yourself that they are for all these years. In fact, 99% of your suffering is coming from your perspective, not the feelings themselves. 99% of your suffering is coming from your perspective, not the feelings themselves. It's coming from the fact that you have told yourself that these feelings are horrible, that you don't want to feel them, so then you get into a state of resistance, and then you want to run away, and then you just make the fight or flight even worse, and now you've convinced yourself that you should not feel these feelings at all costs, that something bad might happen because of them. Ooh, that's a big one. Something bad might happen because of them. You've convinced yourself of all these awful things. And then your body, not knowing any better, does what your body is programmed to do, sees you behaving fearfully, sees you adding fear, and gives you more anxiety to protect you. It doesn't know what from, it's just doing what it's programmed to do. So your perspective is going to determine your second fear. And whether or not you're adding second fear to these feelings is going to determine whether or not you heal. It's going to determine whether or not these feelings escalate to the point that they do, right? And it doesn't matter how badly you escalate these feelings. Nothing horrible is going to happen. At the end of the day, you can scare yourself shitless, but that's as much as going to happen. You're just going to scare yourself. Nothing truly bad is going to happen. But if you want to get out of that habit of scaring yourself to that point, and if you want to heal, you've got to change your perspective, aka you got to work on not adding second fear. The body doesn't know any better. If it sees you behaving fearfully and adding fear and talking negatively to yourself about these feelings, it's going to assume that there's some danger and give you more of what you don't want to feel. And that's the ironic part. So I know a lot of you have convinced yourself that this anxiety is awful and that it's something horrible and you wouldn't wish it on your worst enemy. But this is all a perspective. And I know a lot of you, maybe, don't even believe me when I say that. You probably convinced yourself so deeply to the point that these feelings should be avoided, that when I say that you're causing yourself to suffer, and that when I say that your perspective is going to make all the difference, and when I say that you are the cause of your unnecessary suffering, you might even get a little bit offended hearing that. And you might want to jump in and defend the fact that, yes, I feel so awful. How dare you say that it's me adding second fear that's causing myself to suffer? How dare you say that? These feelings are awful. And you just reinforce that idea to yourself, and you just keep yourself in that victim mindset. And I promise you, staying in that victim mindset's not going to get you anywhere. It's going to get you nowhere. In fact, it's going to take you backwards. So if you truly want to heal from anxiety, you have to realize something. And that is that you are in charge of your perspective, which means you are in charge of whether or not you're adding second fear. And that's going to make all the difference in the world. It's going to make all the difference in the world. If you want to work on changing your perspective, the best way to do that is to, A, understand whether or not you're adding second fear in that moment. And if you are, let's work on changing that perspective. Let's work on finding a new way to view these symptoms, whatever way you can find that brings you some comfort. Let's work on accepting these feelings for what they are instead of what the mind is making them out to be, right? I need a drink of water. Can you hear that in my voice? I'm a little scratchy. I need a drink of water, but that was the point of today's stream, you guys. You are in charge of whether or not you're adding second fear. And what is second fear? Second fear is your perspective. And there's always a better way to look at things. There's always a better way to look at things. And even if you have to work on it and it doesn't become second nature overnight, that's okay. Practice, practice, practice. There's always a better way to look at things. And whether or not you're adding second fear will determine everything. It will determine everything. Tally81, thank you so much for the $6 dono. I love the creepy new Halloweeny notification sound. Thank you so much, Tally, for the $6. I truly appreciate you. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. Let's get that updated real quick. But yeah, guys, you cannot forget, okay? It is so important. You cannot forget how much power you have. You have power over whether or not you're adding second fear. That is up to you. And I know it seems so automatic that sometimes you forget that you have that power. But I'm here to remind you, you absolutely have the say on what your perspective is. You absolutely do. We're not talking about negative intrusive thoughts. Leave those alone. We're talking about your own conscious choice on what your perspective is. That's what we're talking about today. And you absolutely have all the power in the world over that. Second fear may seem so automatic that you don't believe that, but keep practicing and you'll see for yourself. So I'm really far behind on comments, so I'm not even going to try to catch up. I think you guys are talking amongst yourselves, so let's just jump in right up here. Sanchez, what's up, dude? Late, but made it. That's really working for you. So many need to learn about this. Yes, perspective is so important. I usually feel like the only one with anxiety that will end up crazy. That was one of my biggest fears. You're not alone. Most people with anxiety have one or two big fears, and that's either A, they're going to suffer some sort of physical death, or B, they're going to suffer some sort of mental insanity. But at the end of the day, it's all treated the same. It's all treated by a change of perspective, aka dropping second fear. And it doesn't matter how low down you feel, you can recover. You absolutely can make progress. It takes practice. It takes time to change a perspective, but you absolutely can make progress and you can recover. Wonderbro, thank you for being here on here this late. You work so hard for this community. Hey, I appreciate that, Edward. It's my pleasure. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love being able to help you guys out. If I can bring somebody some relief, if I can bring somebody some hope, okay, then I'm happy to do it. What's up, everybody? What's up, brother? What's up, Elliot? It's good to see you, dude. Okay, so I'm not chugging Mountain Dew. This is an empty 2-liter that's full of water. How's everybody in chat doing, man? I learned about acceptance 3 weeks ago, and I feel like a new person. I've learned a ton, and Wonderbro is a life changer. That's awesome, Cade. Still have the ups and downs, but I'm going to keep going because I know I'll heal. That is awesome, dude. So proud of you. I go to the gym at 6:30 a.m. Then I manage a tree company. I'm going to assume that's what you meant. Tire tree. I don't know. 6 days a week, then college 3 evenings a week, plus I'm full-time dad to my 3-year-old son. Am I doing too much? I don't think there's really such a thing as doing too much. I think some of us lead more stressful lives than others, right? Which can make things a bit more challenging. But if you're living up to the advice and you're practicing the advice, you can do it either way. Doesn't matter. Hi, Wonderbro. Hi, everyone. This is a great message. It's my attitude and what we tell ourselves for sure. Yes, practice and time. Yes, Angie. Good to see you. Good to see you. Facts for years. I blamed a demonic spirit of fear for my anxiety, but I had to realize I was the problem. I'm like 60% recovered, but gotta ignore the thoughts. Yes, just let the thoughts be there. Don't try to force them out, but just don't entertain them. Don't entertain them. Just carry on with your day. Glad you're making progress. That is amazing. Good to see you, man. I'm late. Probably missed a lot. Yeah, but this stream will be uploaded. Most of the streams do get uploaded, so. Hell yeah, chug Mountain Dew. Bew, I just cannot feel symptoms. I have to focus on symptoms to feel it. My mind goes everywhere, overthinking. So, I think there's a lot of overcomplication because I've been reading your comments for a few days. FIFA. I think there's a lot of overcomplication here. And regardless of what you're worried about, if you're worried about something, the body is going to take that as a danger, and it's going to give you anxiety, right? So let's not overcomplicate this. Whatever it is that you're worried about, which I'm having trouble understand what you're trying to say, but it doesn't really matter. I can give you advice regardless because this tackles every sort of worry. So regardless of what it is you're worried about, I think you're overcomplicating it, and you need to realize that if you're worried about something, the body takes that as a real danger. So let's drop the worry by understanding that anxiety symptoms are totally fine to feel, and that there's nothing wrong with negative intrusive thoughts. We don't have to open the door. Just stick to the 2 main keys. Don't overcomplicate it. Hey, bro, how are you? You're exactly who I needed right in this moment. What is up, Wonderlust? Wonderbro needs to sit on the throne trumpet. Why do you feel your folks? Okay, I'm trying to see what comments here. Wonderbro, yesterday I challenged my symptoms to get worse, and today I'm feeling guilty about it because I have developed this constant head muscle tension. It's so irritating. Please help me. Well, there's nothing I can tell you to make your head muscle tension just go away. There's not. There's nothing I can tell any of you to make your physical symptoms just go away. However, what I can tell you is what to do to heal your tired nerves. And that is the two main keys. Always, always, always. Stop opening the door to all of this obsession. Stop it. Stop it. Cut it the fuck out. Stop opening the door to all of this negative obsession, because you're just falling further and further down this rabbit hole, which I did myself for years. But you don't have to. Understand that you have a choice on whether or not you open the door to these negative intrusive thoughts. They can be there, knocking, but you don't have to entertain them, right? And as far as your symptoms go, yes, they may be uncomfortable, they may suck, but don't add second fear. And what is second fear? It is your perspective. So if you're talking very negatively about your symptoms to yourself, your body's just going to give you more, because your brain doesn't know the difference between negative inner dialogue and a real danger. So, although there's nothing I can tell you to make your symptoms just go away, there's nothing I can give you to make that happen. It's impossible. What I can give you is the two main keys to eventually heal your nerves over time and lead to a fading of these symptoms. That's what I can give you. Believe me, I spent way too much time obsessing over these symptoms and just adding more and more what Dr. Claire Weeks calls second fear, which just makes the nerves even more tired. So although we can't zap a symptom away just like that, we can focus on whether or not we're adding second fear, and that's going to make all the difference in the end, right? So believe me, King, I was just like you once upon a time for many, many, many years. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to be like I once was with all of this second fear. Wonder Bro, I was dealing with rituals during praying at night. Your acceptance lesson has helped me get through it and not do the rituals. That is awesome, Edward. So very proud of you. Accept whatever anxiety comes while you're resisting the urge to give in to these compulsions, and eventually they will lose their power over you. Eventually they will lose their power over you. Yeah, let's not overcomplicate it. Yeah. Overcomplication is a huge downfall of a lot of people. Right? Because overcomplication is usually just fearful, negative self-talk. And as we all know, I've said it a million times, fearful, negative self-talk is taken by the body as a real danger. It doesn't know the difference, so you get more anxiety. And that's why this second fear, this fearful, negative perspectives that you hold on to, that you've had for years, that's why they're continuing to break your nerves down like they are, right? All because of that simple little fact. Faith! What are you doing, Faith? Dab? Kitty emojis. That's how you know Faith is here. That's how you know Faith is here, when we start seeing the kitty emojis in chat. Hey, Jesse, just go with the flow, man. Whatever you're feeling, right? I think it's Eckhart Tolle that says it's completely futile to resist the way that you're feeling, because guess what? That's the way that you're feeling. So it's completely futile to resist or try to push away the way that you're feeling. But that doesn't mean that we can't actively be working on better habits to make us feel better, right? A couple gaming stream? That's not a bad idea, actually. That could be a lot of fun. Do you think lack of sleep can affect your anxiety? It can, but lack of sleep is something you're just going to have to deal with when you're severely sensitized. It affects everybody. Pretty much everybody that deals with sensitization deals with lack of sleep. Doesn't mean you can't start using the advice. Doesn't mean you can't start to heal. Doesn't mean you can't start to heal. We're going to try for a baby soon. Congratulations. I'm concerned as I'm not fully recovered yet. Well, again, perspective is so important here, see. So you could worry about this thing, of course. You could worry about it, but where's that going to get you? It's just going to make you feel worse. It's just going to make you feel worse and feel even less prepared. So worry pretends to be important, and worry pretends to be useful, but it never is. So that's the first thing I want to tell you. And the second thing I want to tell you is this could be your motivation. You can turn anything into motivation, right? I'm struggling to execute acceptance. The biggest tip I'll give you with acceptance, okay, is you need to be more mindful of what your perspective is. If your perspective of your symptoms are negative, predominantly negative, you are adding what we call second fear, which is the very reason you aren't healing. So A, just get on with your life, start doing the things that you would normally do, regardless of how you feel, and B, work on not adding second fear, which is your perspective. Get on with your life. Be more mindful of whether or not you're adding second fear. That's what you need to practice. What is second fear? It is your inner dialogue. All right, you guys, give me like 2 seconds here. I'll be right back. Beautiful, beautiful people of the internet. I told you it would only take me a second. Let those negative, intrusive thoughts be there. Let those negative, intrusive thoughts be there without opening the door to them. Right? Right? So, AKA, just get on with your life. And B, focus and be more mindful on the fact, are you adding second fear or not? That's what you need to determine. Second fear is the way you see your feelings. Second fear is your perspective of your feelings. Seeing your symptoms for what they really are is a big one too. Really is helping me. Yes, perspective, perspective, perspective. Second fear is just a fancy word for perspective. Perspective. You ever say a word so much it starts to sound weird? It's the way I'm feeling right now with perspective. Let's get some music going, guys. A lot of people do tend to overcomplicate it, and that's very normal. It's very normal. It seems so complex, you're like, there has to be something I'm missing, right? There's nothing you're missing. It literally just comes down to your perspective. Changing a perspective takes time. Yes, I'm not going to tell you it'll happen overnight. It does take some work to change your perspective and drop second fear and just get on with your life. This does take time. This does take practice. I'm not going to tell you it's necessarily easy, but it's simple to understand. It's simple to understand. A little bit, it takes practice to execute, but it's simple to understand. Don't overcomplicate it outside of that. The 2 main keys. That's why I try to make it as simple as possible with just 2 main keys, right? The 2 main keys. The 2 main keys. Don't open the door to negative, intrusive thoughts. They can knock all they want. They can be in your head all they want, but you don't have to follow them. You can just let them be there and carry on with your day. And see your feelings for what they are. The 2 main keys. Don't overcomplicate it outside of that, chat. I know it's easy to want to overcomplicate it. Trust me, I was the worst for that. Alright? But don't overcomplicate it outside of that. As a human being, you tend to overcomplicate the shit out of everything. And I'm here to tell you that. Whether you want to admit it to yourself or not, whether your ego is too big to admit that or not, the fact of the matter is, as a human being, you tend to complicate the shit out of everything. The literal shit out of everything. But overcomplicating this thing is the very reason why you're still stuck in it. Is the very reason why you're still stuck in it. It's very simple when you hear, okay, when I have negative intrusive thoughts, just don't fight with them, don't argue with them, just let them be there, carry on with my day, and let me try to start to see my feelings in a better way, instead of seeing them in such a negative way. That's very easy when you hear the 2 main keys to understand. But people tend to overcomplicate it outside of that because you're a human being. I used to do the same thing. I used to do the same thing all the time, right? So I get it. I get it. I'm just letting you know. I'm just pointing it out so that you can become aware of it, so that you don't make the same mistake. We do a lot of that here on the channel. And that's why I'm so thankful that I had to go through what I went through, or else I wouldn't be able to be here now and telling you guys what I know. So I'm thankful for what I went through. I'm thankful for it so that I can call it out when I see it, right? So that you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. I've got an alarm on my watch that I don't know how to make go away permanently. How are you, Chris? I'm doing good. How are you doing, man? Hope everybody having a good day, good night. What type of meditation would you recommend? I like focusing on a sound and just being present. Being present and meditating is the same thing. Again, don't overcomplicate it. Pick a sound, put your focus there. You're now rooted in the present moment. And when thoughts come, that's fine. They're going to come still. So we're not trying to force those away. We're just keeping the attention on something in the present moment while the thoughts are in the background. See, that's what we're doing. It'll never be about fighting. It'll never be about fighting. Hey, JK, man, I'm glad I could help you, dude. I'm having a good day. That is awesome. Happy to hear it. Mine just checking, and I want to help people as well. Hey, you're getting there, Jesse. I'm proud of all the progress you've made, dude. Has anyone played Spellbreak on Xbox or PS4? It's cross-platform. I don't even think I've heard of it, to be honest. Spellbreak? We got an ad. Music will be right back shortly. It's pretty dope. Yeah, I don't even think I've heard of it, to be honest. Yeah, guys, that's so important though. It's so important that you don't overcomplicate it. The mind always wants to overcomplicate things, but you do have a choice. Do you follow those thoughts or do you not follow those thoughts? If those thoughts are making you uncomfortable, why do you want to open the door? I mean, I know it feels natural to want to fight with them so that you can get some relief, but you're actually accomplishing the opposite. It's so important to realize that. Seems like everybody in chat knows what Spellbreak is, but I've never heard of it. Spellbreak. Interesting. Interesting, I'm Googling it. I've never seen this. Wonder Bro, do you still game? Yes, I game. I love gaming. PC Master Race. Among Us is the next Fall Guys. Whenever I'm with family and friends, I feel completely like my old self. Then after the thoughts of feelings will come back, but I'm just accepting it all. Accept it all. Don't add that second fear, right? Perspective, so important. Among Us, that's like the big game out right now. I haven't played it. There's like 3 tracks that I like on this playlist. Yeah, I've never heard of Spellbreak. Oh, that's tasty. That is tasty, chat. Chat. It's good to be alive, chat. It feels good to be alive, chat. It feels good to be alive, chat. We might be going through struggles. We might have our personal issues. We might have things that we need to work on. It might not be all sunshine, rainbows, and fucking unicorns 24/7. But it feels good to be alive, chat. Hey man, happy to see you're on. What's up, Joseph? Yeah, like Fortnite, but with wizards and magic. Need to get that Xbox Series X stronger than PC. Debatable. Chat. Just because you're struggling today doesn't mean it'll always be this way. Because you're struggling and because you're here means that you're working on it. It means that you're working on it, chat. And you can grow and you can learn and you can have that drive. Okay? You can have that drive. That motivation. I've been here for a long time. We've been doing this, for almost 3 years now? We've seen a lot of people. There's been a lot of people come to the channel, the lowest of the low, thinking that they're going to be this way forever. All right? And then over time, with enough practice and dedication, they made the changes necessary. And now they're living very happy, normal lives. All right? All right? And you can too, chat. You can too, chat. You can too, chat. This is time for you to learn, time for you to grow. Right? What do you think about the RTX 3080 GPU? I watched the Linus Tech Tip videos on it. Apparently it's kind of disappointing, right? I don't really know. I just watched one video on it. I think the price is great. But I need those rainbows and unicorns. Yeah, it depends on what kind of PC you have. I mean, sure, the Xbox Series X or whatever they're calling it these days can be a lot stronger than some PCs. But it depends on what kind of PC you have. I mean, you can build a PC that would blow the Xbox Series X out of the water. Would just blow it to another planet. Wonder Bro, there's a great scene in the movie Beautiful Mind. He knew the people he was seeing never grew old. That made him aware of his illness. My OCD never grows. Same loop helps my awareness. Awareness, so important. Awareness, so important. How you doing, Big Worm? It's been a minute, dude. I missed you. Trendy games are not my forte, especially the free-to-play kind. I prefer to buy the AAA titles with lots of thought and promotion at full price. There are a lot of good indie games, though. There is a lot of good indie games, but I am a fan of AAA titles with a good story. Right? Compared $500 PCs. Yeah, if you compare it to $500 PCs, then you know, it's way better. But chat is alive. A graphics card and RAM matters. Yes. Is it normal that my mind feels like it's on alert 24/7? It's not really bothering me, but it's just weird and wondering what it is. It's just you in that anxiety state. What is the anxiety state? To prepare you for a danger, right? So of course you're in a hypersensitive state where you're very aware. Just accept that. Don't add second fear to that, and eventually the body will heal itself. That's the beautiful thing. The body and mind heals itself as long as we leave it the fuck alone, right? Xbox bought Bethesda. I seen that. It blows my mind. So that should be interesting. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens with that. I wish somebody would do something with the Silent Hill franchise. That would be nice. That would be real nice. Ugh. I want somebody to do something with my favorite franchise. Oh, Elliot, you'll know, dude. You'll know. You don't have to remember. Just wait for it. You'll start to feel better. The more you practice, the more time you give it, you'll start to feel better. You don't even have to remember. Sony is trying to do something with Silent Hill. I wish, dude. I wish somebody would either buy it, okay? I wish they'd sell it and somebody would buy it that would do something with it. I don't know. I just want a good Silent Hill game. We haven't had a good Silent Hill game since Silent Hill 3. We haven't had a good Silent Hill game since Silent Hill 3. I stand by that 110%. What's up, Christopher? Konami screwed it up. Yeah, Konami did screw up Silent Hill. Xbox exclusives been kind of trash compared to PlayStation. I gotta agree with you there. Oof. Nobody break out the pitchforks, but I gotta agree with you there. I'm grabbing PS5, scored a pre-order, but I'm not that hyped. Not sure why. I mean, you know, a new console, right? It's like we've kind of seen a lot of it already be done, so it's kind of hard to get too hyped for a new console. Because I mean, is the jump really that big? You get what I'm saying? Is the jump in the new generation really that big? I mean, I'm sure it'll be great, don't get me wrong, but I can see why the hype is kind of low. Konami actually making something that people want? Yeah, right? I think they're making slot machines these days, Silent Hill slot machines. Give me a break. Give me a break. Almost healed from sensitization, being pulled back and forth throughout the day. Yeah, tug of war, dude. But you're obviously on the right path to healing, or you wouldn't be in this tug of war. You'd just be having constant bad days. So keep going, because whatever you're doing is working, right? If you're having this back and forth. Oh, I'm sure buying the Silent Hill name is a pretty pricey venture. So, you know, you got to think about it. You know, they're going to be like, is there really a market for this? How many people actually want a new Silent Hill game? Is it worth buying? Is it worth buying the name? I don't know. Silent Hill's got like a cult following, but is it really worth buying it and then making a new game? Are you going to break profit on that? Because the price of buying the actual Silent Hill title and then making a new game, it's going to be a lot of money. It's going to cost a lot of money. Are you going to make a profit on that? I had a really good gaming PC a few years back, 60 plus frames. Graphical improvements won't be that new to me, just maybe ray tracing, but come on. A $500 system won't be native 4K 60 plus frames. Costs a lot of money to score that on PC. They can optimize it well enough, but still. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get 4K 60 plus frames on a $500 system. Is Silent Hill better than Resident Evil? I love Silent Hill and Resident Evil, both. But Silent Hill will always be my baby. I love Silent Hill. I love Silent Hill. Feeding Frenzy 3, please. Faith wants a new Feeding Frenzy. They don't care about profit? Okay, I mean, I don't know, dude. I hope somebody buys it and does something with it. That's all I know. That's all I know. Everyone thought The Last of Us 4 was going to be a hit, but it was a total flop. Was it? Was it? Because I haven't got to play it yet. Is it The Last of Us 4 or 3? What is... or 2? It's The Last of Us 2, right? Yeah, it's 2. Okay. For class single day for at least 1 year. A little fangirl. Pyramid Head. Who doesn't love Pyramid Head? Silent Hill. Silent Hill is just near and dear to my heart. Near and dear to my heart. Is it Last of Us? It's The Last of Us 2, right? 4? What is 4? I'm confused, chat. I went with Intel. Should I wait to recover before going back into work? I'm a little hesitant as I am still quite symptomatic. As long as you're following the advice, you can do whatever you want to do. As long as you're truly following the 2 main keys, you can do whatever you want to do. Don't let it stop you. It's up to you, But just understand, as long as you're following the advice, you can do whatever you want to do. Right? And Gabe's got a point there with that comment. Loved by critics, critically panned by fans, people who didn't play the first one. I played the first Last of Us and absolutely loved it. Loved it. Haven't played the second one yet, though. I want to. Intel i5 9400. I'm pretty sure that's what I got in my rig at the moment. I really need to upgrade my CPU and my GPU. Well, I don't really... Okay, I take that back. I don't really need to upgrade my CPU and GPU. It would be nice, but it's not needed. I mean, I can run anything I want to run. I'm pretty, like, high settings on most stuff. So, I mean, it's fine. It works. But if you're, like, one of those nerds who's got to have the best, then, yeah, my rig definitely needs upgraded. But if you're like me, it's no big deal. And don't be offended, chat. I'm a nerd. Okay? Not calling anybody a nerd. I'm definitely a nerd. What kind of cigs do I smoke? I smoke L&M's. Lights. I wish I could buy an RTX 2090, but shit is expensive, right? Need to play on my Switch. I want to get a Switch, dude, just for The Legend of Zelda. And Luigi's Mansion. Alright, chat. Give me 2 minutes, chat. All right, chat. We back. We back. There's a problem. There's 19 of us in chat and only 5 likes. There's 14 on my end. I don't know. Maybe it's not updated on your side. I wonder what's the name of this song. Are you referring to this song? Right here? This one? This one is Clear My Head. Yeah, it probably just hasn't updated on Elliot's end yet. Oh, the BRB song? No clue. It's just like listed as a file. Like I renamed it when I got it. But yeah, if you haven't hit the like button, I'd be very appreciative if you did. Mario 64. I love Mario. I love Mario. What is it that Dr. Clay Weeks says about the wave? We don't stand up against the wave because then we get crushed, right? Float. Yeah, if you're sitting around waiting for progress to happen, I mean, then you're way too focused. You're way too inner focused. And a lot of people do fall into that mistake. They sit around and wait too much, right? They sit around and wait too much instead of getting on with life, instead of just going with the flow of their feelings, instead of just working on not adding second fear and then getting on with life. They make it everything. They make it everything. Everything. Consumed by it 24/7. So, you know, it's great that you're practicing not adding second fear. That is the way out. That is the way to heal. But also get on with your life in the meantime. That way you don't have too much free time to sit around and obsess, right? And I'm not saying you should cram every second of every day with something to do. I'm just saying get on with your life a little bit. Get on with your life a little bit. It'll help. What's my favorite movie? That's a good question. It's a good question. Probably Big Fish by Tim Burton is one of my favorites. Probably Big Fish by Tim Burton. I love anything Tim Burton. Anything Tim Burton, really. Some Hawaiian Punch chat. Hey, that's awesome, Elliot. Making progress, dude. You guys should be proud of whatever little bit of progress you make, even if it seems small. Even if it seems small, you should be proud of whatever little bit of progress you're making. For real. Focus on the success. Focus on the accomplishments. Don't focus on the negative shit. Don't focus on the negative shit. A lot of people, they just let their mind totally control everything that they do. You can let the mind say whatever it wants to say, and it's gonna say whatever it wants to say. But that doesn't mean you have to give it credit, chat, right? That doesn't mean you have to get it credit. At any given moment in time, you can totally be responsible for your mood. Completely. Stephen King, I'm not a big reader, so not much of an opinion there. Catch 22 is a saying. I'm 29. I'm 39. I know what you're saying. Yeah, catch-22 is a saying. It's like saying you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Basically. Basically. Ayo. What's up, Andrew? I want a sandwich, guys. Yeah, I'm not a reader. I was the type to try and face any fear my mind would told me, and that what helped, but it didn't. You have to ignore the mind. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't. I was the type to try to face any fear the mind told me, and that what helped. That's what helped, but it didn't. You have to ignore the mind. Okay, I get what you're saying. So you're trying to tackle every single thing that the mind says, right? You're getting way too involved. It's best to just let the mind say whatever the mind wants to say without getting involved, period. Because the mind's going to talk a lot of nonsense. It's going to talk a lot of nonsense. What's poppin'? Oh, not a whole lot, dude. Not a whole lot. We've been talking about all sorts of shit tonight. Cousin was in that movie? That's awesome. Yeah, and Sandlot. I love Sandlot. Sandlot's a classic, dude. Sandlot is a classic. What's your take on sometimes just feeling like crap? I mean, it's going to happen, right? It's going to happen. You're going to feel like crap from time to time. Okay, but you'll be surprised how much of that we add to ourselves. You'd be surprised. If you become more mindful of the thoughts you're entertaining, you'll be surprised. You'll be very, very surprised. So. You'll be very, very surprised. A lot of that we add ourselves. I got burnt out today because I was applying to so many jobs. What jobs are you looking at? Sandlot was great as a kid and still is. It really is, dude. I can't tell you how many times I've watched Sandlot. I cannot tell you how many times I've watched Sandlot. We gotta stretch a little bit, chat. We're at that hour mark. Windy peppercorn. Windy peppercorn. I hate this song, bro. Reading a graphic novel, aka comic hell, yeah. Sandlot was the movie I brought to school during a movie day, right? If you've not seen Sandlot, it's never too late. I gotta get something to drink, chap. Chat. What's up, chat? I can't believe we've already been streaming for an hour. It doesn't feel that long. I'm heading out. Much love to you all. Keep practicing the tools and keeping your heads up. Hey, Gabe, appreciate you being here, dude. I found these videos called brown noise. What? I've never heard of that. I've heard of white noise. Kate, it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong. You just need to take some time to take care of yourself. If you're talking about feelings so down that you want to hurt yourself, that's different. Yeah, that's different. I think he's just talking about rough days, though. Just feeling down. Time flies when you're having fun. Agreed. Agreed. Discord chat stream. Love this community, and the channel makes me feel like I'm still human. Dude, we're here for you. We got your back. I've said it a million times before. I'll say it again. Best community on YouTube, hands down. Hands down, all right? Let's get some lo-fi going. Best community ever. Guys, we are so close. We are so close to 9K. So close. This is the best community. I'm glad you guys agree. Your advice is so helpful, better than anything I came across. That's awesome, JK, man. Appreciate you. No BS, very helpful. I always try to go for the no BS, right? No BS? Why beat around the bush? Why overcomplicate something when it doesn't need to be overcomplicated? Doesn't make sense to me. Guys, I've got a shirt pocket and it makes me so happy. I've got a shirt pocket. What kind of games are you into? It really just depends. I don't have like a favorite kind of game, like genre that I'm into, but I really like story-driven games, and I know a lot of people these days are more focused on the multiplayer type stuff, but I really like story-driven games and survival games. Yeah, exactly, Blake. You got to sell a program, right? You got to sell a program, and you can't fit it all in 2 sentences if you're going to sell your program. So I agree with you there, and that's unfortunate, but thank you for all your effort. Hey, man, it's my pleasure. And thank you guys for being here. Truly appreciate it. I'm getting a little hungry, chat. The shirt pocket makes me feel like a scientist or some shit, right? I'm a fan of shirt pockets. Every shirt should have a shirt pocket. I'm gonna make that into a petition. It makes me feel like a scientist. I love it. Nah, man, it's too late for pizza. I wish our pizza place stayed open all night. That would be nice. I call them dad shirts. It's so convenient. I think I'm going to bed now. See you later. See you, Blake. Thanks for stopping by, dude. Truly appreciate it. Hope you have a good one. You know when we break that lo-fi music out, we're just in that point of the stream where we're all just chilling, we're all just vibing. As you get older, you use them more, right? I've only got one shirt that has a shirt pocket, and guess what? It's my favorite. Just want to stop in and show you some love. I'm about 80% better. That's awesome, dude. Keep it up. Proud of you and your progress, man. Don't stop now. Don't stop now. It's just a typo, Jesse. JK. Okay, I was like, it's just a typo. I've gotten better at that. You have to get better at that when you stream. Being able to pick up on typos and what people actually meant to say. It comes with the stream. Comes with time. Thanks, Wonder Bro. Hey, no problem, dude. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Don't stop now. Yeah, for real. I totally am getting ripped off joining a paid anxiety program, leading me down a rabbit hole looking for childhood trauma. I knew deep down it had nothing to do with it. I mean, like I said when we spoke about this the other day, if investigating your childhood traumas and stuff in your past is something you're interested in, then by all means, you have the right to do that. However, in my humble personal opinion, it's not going to heal your nerves. You still have to put in the work now. Your nervous system is still in the state that it's in now, right? So although that stuff can be interesting and, maybe you're curious, it's not going to heal your nerves now, in my opinion. You still have to put in the work to desensitize your nervous system. I'm almost healed. Wonder Bro replies, you're canceled. Okay. It took me a year to understand what don't entertain the thoughts actually means. That's how much I was in my head and had full of anxiety. Yeah, and I get that. It takes people time to understand what that truly means. When I say don't follow your thoughts, it sounds simple, but then people they go right back in their bad habits, right? And I get that people do that because I was one of those people. I understand that it takes time to break a bad habit. And that's why I'm more than willing to continue to repeat myself as many times as I need to, because I know how that feels. You know what you're supposed to do, but you're continuing to give into the bad habits anyway. I get that. And that's why we do almost daily streams here. And that's why I repeat myself as many times as I need to repeat myself, because sometimes that's necessary. It takes time, it takes practice to understand these things. I get it. I mean, for example, I read Hope and Help for Your Nerves, and I understood Second Fear, and I understood that I was scaring myself with what I was telling myself about my anxiety. I understood all that on the surface, but I wasn't applying myself to it. So I get how it feels to be in that situation, that position, where you're like, okay, this is what I need to do, but you just can't seem to get the hang of it. You just continue to fall back into bad old habits. I get that. I totally understand that. Got some updates here. Way overcomplicated, I think, just my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I've never once and I never will go out of my way to say that another content creator is teaching the wrong things. I would never do that. But, here on my channel, I try to keep it as simple as possible. That's all I can say. I mean, it's totally up to you if you want to watch me, if you want to watch somebody else. I still love you. Right? I'll never go out of my way to try to bash another content creator. But I will say this. I try to keep it as simple as possible on my channel. I try to keep it as simple as possible. Straight to the point. I mean, I really don't see the point in doing it any other way, you know what I mean? If somebody's suffering and they desperately need the help and, you know, you're going to make videos or whatever, or do streams, then why not just get straight to the point, you know? When I was severely sensitized, I did a lot of Googling, obviously. That's what everyone does when they're severely sensitized. And I started to notice this reoccurring theme, right? This reoccurring theme of overcomplication. I would click on something and it would just be page after page after page after page after page of all this information. And there's no way when you're sensitized you can take all that bullshit in. There's just no way. You're in a state of mind where you're frantic. You're in a state of mind where you're desperate. You're in a state of mind where you just need some advice. You want some quick advice. What's going to work and why is this happening? You're not in the mood to sit through. You literally, physically, and mentally can't sit through all that information. It's overwhelming to a sensitized person. And they don't get anything out of it. They really don't get anything out of it. So I just don't see the point in overcomplication. Like, it doesn't help anybody. That's why I love this channel. Agreed. I'm glad you guys agree. I just subscribed to you the day before yesterday. I'm planning to watch all your live streams slowly. Hey, I mean, we do a lot of live streams. We do a lot of videos here, but not because there's that much information for you to take in. Really, the 2 main keys is all you need to know at the end of the day. The only reason we do so many streams and videos is because I love to word things in different ways. I like to try to speak to everybody, right? And I try to word things in as many different ways as I can so that everybody can understand what I'm trying to say. And sometimes that's helpful. But at the end of the day, if you just knew the 2 main keys and you ran with it, you would heal. You would heal. You don't have to watch every single one of my streams and videos to heal. You just have to get an understanding of the 2 main keys, and then you're set. The streams are just there as a reminder. The streams are just there as a way to sharpen your skills. Self-talk is not necessarily a bad thing as long as it's not negative in nature, right? As long as it's not self-talk, you opening the door to negative intrusive thoughts, and it's literally just self-talk. You do have to be a little careful with self-talk, but at the end of the day, it's not something that we should villainize, in my opinion. Hi guys, hey Wonder Bro, I've been getting stuck a lot lately. Give me some encouragement, please. D-Block, my man, what you need to focus on now is being more mindful of the way you're talking to yourself. Are you being mindful of the way you're talking to yourself? Are you staying on top of yourself as far as that goes? Because the way you talk to yourself, that's your perspective. And your perspective's going to determine whether or not you're adding second fear. So you need to ask yourself each and every day, am I adding second fear with my perspectives? If the answer to that question is yes, that's what we got to work on. That's what we got to work on. There's always a better way to see things if we're willing to do that. There's always a change of perspective that can be made. There's always a different way to look at things. There's always a more pleasing perspective that can be had. Are you opening the door to negative intrusive thoughts? If the answer is yes, you got to leave them alone. Are you talking to yourself very negatively, which is second fear? If the answer is yes, you got to work on that, right? The 2 main keys. Take advantage of those rough days, man. It's when you'll learn the most. Don't be bitter over your rough days. That's when you will do the absolute most work for yourself. Seeing small improvements, hey, that's progress. Small improvements, big or small, that's progress. Keep practicing, you will get the hang of it. This is not something people grasp or understand overnight. Usually it takes time, and that's fine. Don't beat yourself up over that. That is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You have to see your feelings for what they are instead of what the mind's making them out to be. right? Perspective. It's so important. And changing your perspective is usually not something that happens instantly. What Dr. Claire Weeks calls the little voice in the head, she's not referring to negative intrusive thoughts. There's a big difference there. Negative intrusive thoughts come without our say. Leave those alone. But as far as the voice in your head, the way you talk to yourself, that's up to you, man. That's up to you, and we can make those changes. Gotta run, Wonder Bro. Thanks, man, as usual, and love all you good people. Everyone have a good night. I love you all. Hey, Elliot, thanks for stopping by, dude. Much love right back at you. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate all you do for the channel. Thank you. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. Oh, you're not even seeing small improvements. Okay, well then reflect on everything I just said and ask yourself those questions. Am I opening the door to these obsessions? Am I continuing to obsess all day long about the way I feel? Am I continuing to have a negative inner dialogue with myself? Okay, let's make this as simple as possible. Are you talking negatively to yourself? If the answer is yes, then you're adding second fear, and that's where you're going wrong. There you go. Let's try to make it as simple as possible, because I know how it feels to be in that situation, that space. I'm not resisting the thought. Okay, you might be confusing resistance with anxiety. So, of course, the thought's going to bring you some anxiety when it pops up, and that's normal. But the key is whether or not you just let that anxiety be there and that thought be there and just continue on or not, or if you get involved. It's going to feel tough because you're in a habit of getting involved. The anxiety is going to be there, but you got to leave those thoughts alone. You got to leave those negative intrusive thoughts alone, and eventually they'll stop coming. Eventually they'll stop causing you anxiety if they do come, right? So in a nutshell, leave those negative intrusive thoughts alone and be more mindful of the way that you talk to yourself, which determines whether or not you're adding second fear. So important, guys. Greetings from Germany. Greetings. How are you doing? Thanks for pointing me to Dr. Claire Weeks. That's the OG, man. That's the OG. If I seem distracted, I'm not. I'm just over here painting a pumpkin on Microsoft Paint. I'm still very much interested in your comments and reading all of them. How do we stop second fear? Second fear is a choice. So automatically it may feel like you're adding second fear because the habit is so strong, but second fear is the way you talk to yourself about your symptoms. Already loving this community. Have a great night, guys. Hey, we're happy to have you. I love to see new faces in here. We're happy to have you. Welcome. So second fear is the way you talk to yourself about your symptoms, aka your perspective. The advice to heal in a nutshell is to stop opening the door to those negative intrusive thoughts, aka just letting them be there while you continue on with your day and stay quiet. Don't say anything to them. Don't open the door to them. And B, be more mindful of the way that you're talking to yourself and the way that you're talking to yourself about your symptoms. Because that is going to determine your second fear. Potty break, you guys, real quick. What is up, beautiful people? I love you guys. How do you take the fear out of the symptoms? So, second fear is our perspective. We know that. And second fear is what keeps you sensitized. So, a good way to take the fear out of symptoms is to first practice acceptance, which is to see them for what they are, right? Because normally we spend too much time running away from them and fighting with them and using coping methods that we never get the chance to see for ourselves that they're not all they're cracked up to be. So, a good way to begin losing fear of symptoms is, of course, acceptance. What goes into that? It's to feel your feelings without running from them so that you can see that they're not all big, bad, and mighty. Okay? So you can see that for yourself. And while experiencing your symptoms, if you're adding second fear, which is you talking negatively to yourself about your symptoms, notice that you're doing that and say, you know what? There's a better way to live. If I'm adding second fear, I'm going to drop second fear. I'm going to accept the way that I feel. I'm going to see these feelings for what they are. So instead of chalking your beating heart up as... My dog is scratching, so that's probably kind of loud. Stop that. Instead of seeing your beating heart as you possibly going to have a heart attack, if that's what you're telling yourself, that's second fear. Instead of seeing your adrenaline, which is nothing more than the same feelings you would feel if you were excited, instead of seeing that as potentially losing your mind or going crazy, which is second fear, you're going to see that for what it is. Energy in the body, the same kind of energy that you would feel if you were super excited and just won the lottery. So, I mean, these are just examples of how you can change your perspective and eliminate second fear, which is what we need to do to let our bodies relax so that they can heal themselves, right? That's the cool thing about the body. It will heal itself if we let it relax. If we let ourselves experience these feelings without stoking the fire. I'll be trying to figure out dumb shit. Exactly, man. You're too much in the head, giving those thoughts too much credit. Let them be there. If they want to cause anxiety, that's fine. Just let them be there. It's when you react, it's when you get involved. You know, that's when you fuel the fire. That's when you fuel the fire. I know it's so tempting to get involved, man. I know it is so tempting, but that is what's keeping those thoughts around. Believe me, I spent a lot of unnecessary time arguing with my thoughts. It got me nowhere. My anxiety came back full force after the loss of my dad last November. I totally understand how that feels. I lost my dad last month, 2 months ago. He was my anxiety coach. It left me afraid to do things I was never afraid of, like driving. So basically, you were dependent on your dad. And that means you're still coming at your anxiety from a place of second fear. So as long as you're dependent on something to get rid of your anxiety, that means you're still viewing your anxiety as something awful. And as long as you're viewing your anxiety as something awful or something that needs to be avoided, then you are coming at it in a second fear mindset, which is just you giving yourself more of the symptoms you don't want to feel. Ironically, that's how that works. Second fear gives us more of the feelings that we don't want to feel. So we do it to ourselves. So understand that as long as you look at anxiety in this way and don't change your perspectives, anxiety will still have somewhat of a control over your life. It's really about changing that perspective. It's really about dropping that second fear. What is second fear? Second fear is the way that you talk to yourself about your symptoms. So it's time to find a new way to talk to yourself about your symptoms. It's time to stop villainizing, right? Anxiety. It's time to stop villainizing anxiety. Because as long as you're talking to yourself in a negative way about anything, your body, not knowing any better, jumps in to give you more anxiety. Wonder Bro, I just got to not get into the thought. That's the main point, right? Don't get into it, right? You're exactly right. Continue on with your day. That's one of the two main keys, not to open the door to those thoughts, not to get involved. The second main key is to start to see your symptoms in a new way. A way that doesn't add second fear, right? And you do that through acceptance. You do that by showing yourself that there's nothing to be afraid of. You do that by dropping the negative self-talk. That is the two main keys in a nutshell, guys, right there. And if you follow that advice and you follow it wholeheartedly, you will heal. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it'll happen overnight, but I am saying that you will make progress and you will get to a point where you feel much, much better about yourself and about life in general. And anxiety will no longer control your life. And you all can do it. Everybody in this chat right now can do it. Everybody's capable of it. Believe me, if I can do it, you can do it. Believe me, guys. 110%. And it's like we talked about yesterday in yesterday's stream, how we pulled up some references from doctors and research that has been done that proves that anxiety and excitement, the symptoms of anxiety and great excitement, are the same. It's just the way you view it. So if you view your symptoms as a negative thing, then you're going to get more and you're going to make yourself suffer unnecessarily. But if you view your symptoms like you would view excitement, because they are more or less the same thing, the same symptoms, you wouldn't suffer. So really, it does come down to perspective. Perspective is second fear. Perspective is second fear. Perspective is second fear. And I love that quote so much that I'm going to read it again. For everybody who's in here tonight, I'm going to read it again. Let's pull it up real quick. Anxiety and excitement are both aroused emotions. In both, the heart beats faster, adrenaline surges, and the body prepares for action. In other words, they're an arousal state. The only difference is that anxiety is a positive emotion focused on all the ways that something could go well. So the only difference between anxiety and excitement, the only difference is that with excitement, you're focused on the positive things that could go well, and with anxiety, you're focused on the negative things that you're telling yourself. So you can see right there, it's not the symptoms, it's the way you view them that makes all the difference in the world. Right there. And that's a beautiful thing to realize. That is a beautiful thing to realize. So you guys have it in you. You absolutely have it in you. It's time to stop scaring yourself, basically. That's what it comes down to. It's time to stop scaring yourself. It's time to stop telling yourself horror stories. Because that's essentially all you're doing in an anxiety state. It's not some great monster that's attacking you or something that needs to be avoided. You're just scaring yourself with horror stories, guys. And you have the power in you to change that, to realize that you're doing that to yourself and changing that. The only difference in the anxiety state and the excitement state is what you're telling yourself about it. Is the stories that you're telling yourself. That is the only difference between an excited state and an anxious state, is the stories that you're telling yourself. And you have total power over the stories that you tell yourself. Leave those negative, intrusive thoughts alone and stop telling yourself horror stories, and you will heal. Sup, Wonder Bro? Hey, what's up, MD? How you doing, man? I hope you're having a good day. It's been a good stream, guys. It's been a good stream. Hey man, if I can bring just one person some relief, then I've done my job, and I'm happy. I'm happy. It's what it's all about. Let's keep that in mind, guys. Let's keep that in mind. If you leave the stream with only one thing tonight, let's keep that in mind. The only difference between being really excited and really anxious, the symptoms don't change. The only thing that changes between those two states is the stories that you're telling yourself, aka your perspective, aka second fear. And that's awesome to realize. That's awesome to realize. I would recommend Hope and Help for Your Nerves. I haven't read any of her other books, but keep in mind, if you're coming at this with the state of mind that you're telling yourself a horror story, oh God, what do I got to do? What do I got to do? What do I got to do to heal? What do I got to do to heal? You're coming at it from second fear still. You're coming at it from a mindset of this is something horrible. And that's a horror story. That is a horror story that you're telling yourself, and that is the exact reason that you're feeling symptoms. Because the brain doesn't know the difference between a real threat to your life and a negative thought that you're entertaining. And that's why you're continuing to experience symptoms. So, my best advice to you is let those negative, intrusive thoughts come, don't open the door, and stop telling yourself horror stories. Because your body is just reacting to those horror stories. That's all that's going on here. Hey, my pleasure, D-Block. My pleasure, man. Ugh. I have worn myself out, chap. How long does it take to break second fear? Depends on how long it takes for you to get dedicated, right? The sooner you get dedicated to it, the sooner you'll break that habit. Yeah, exactly, JK. There's always a better way to look at things, right? There's always a silver lining. So basically, guys, at the end of the day, to cure anxiety, you have to get on with your life and stop telling yourself horror stories, and that's it. That is it right there. I know that sounds easier said than done, but begin. Get started. Get started. Symptoms were gone, then my dad died, and then they came back. So chances are you still view those symptoms in a negative way, and you still tell yourself horror stories about these symptoms, and that's why they're impacting your life so much. So it's time to change our perspective, right? And you can begin right now. That's the beautiful thing. You can begin right now. Very sorry for your loss as well. I know how that feels. It's not easy. It's not easy, but I believe in your ability. 2 seconds, guys. I was feeling pretty hungry, chap. I had to make myself a sandwich. Hey, nothing beats a ham and cheese, man. Nothing beats a ham and cheese, chat. Chocolate chip cookies, yes. JK Beats, dude, thank you so much for the $5 donation. I truly appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. You didn't have to do that. I'm always so grateful, though. Thank you so, so much. Appreciate the support, man. Show our donators some love today. JK Beats, Tally, thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate both of you. From the bottom of my heart. Thank you, guys. JK Beats, Tally, you will both be, your names will both be entered back up into the tip ticker. Stream MVPs, thank you guys so much for your love, for your support. It really does help me continue to do this. I appreciate you. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Not talking my mouth full, but... Is there a mantra you recommend that could help with breaking second fear? And thank you for your kindness. Hey, I'm all about that love and kindness. A mantra you could recommend. So, a good one that I would personally use and that I did use was that, you know what, these feelings of anxiety are just feelings of excitement. And I would remind myself of that. So instead of telling myself a big horror story that my body's just going to react to and give me more anxiety, right? I would just remind myself, these feelings of anxiety are the same as excitement. This adrenaline is just excitement in my body, right? Instead of telling yourself something that's totally not true and based in negativity. Wonder Bro, thank you. Good night. Hey, good night, Edward. Hope you have good sleep, man. That was a good sandwich, chat. That was a good sandwich. I needed that. I was getting sleepy, and it's definitely not time for me to sleep yet. Body needed some energy, which is not a bad thing, right? Big old jug of Hawaiian Punch. Blue Typhoon. It sounds like you're off to a good start, King, by telling yourself that, you know, these symptoms aren't harmful, right? But maybe you're only able to hold that acceptance for so long, and then you fall back into these bad old habits, and that's why I say it takes time to break these habits. It takes time. Continue to practice. Continue accepting. You'll see for yourself, and you'll make many great realizations. Sometimes you're on the right track. You just need more time. You just need more time. And there is nothing wrong with that. Practice, practice, practice. That's why Dr. Claire Weeks, that's why she goes into such great depth when it comes to practice, and she stresses the importance of practice so often. Make sure I've got no crumbs in my beard here. No breadcrumbs left behind. Thank you so much for your, you are such an amazing person. I literally thank God for you. Good night, Wonder Bro. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, and thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting what I do. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. JK, FIFA, Kelly, all of you. Tally, JK Beats, thank you guys so much. Edward, everybody in the chat, appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Thank you for making what I do possible, right? If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be helping people. And, if I didn't have viewers, there'd be no point. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for choosing me, so to speak, as your guide, as your motivator. I truly appreciate it. And I'm just so thankful for you guys. My symptoms go away immediately. Tons of love and blessings to you, my brother from India. Hey, man, keep practicing. You're on the right track, right? If you're not adding second fear, if you have stopped telling yourself horror stories about your symptoms, that means you have stopped adding second fear, and that means you're definitely on the right track. Continue to practice. Continue practicing acceptance. Continue practicing just investigating your symptoms and seeing them for what they are instead of adding second fear. Continue to practice. Sometimes, most of the time, this sort of thing doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's very normal. That's to be expected. So you're on the right track. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. Right? Practice, practice, practice. I didn't get the hang of this thing overnight. Most people don't get the hang of this thing overnight. In fact, I've never met anyone here on the channel who only came in here once, got the advice, understood second fear, and never came back again. I've never seen that happen. It takes time, and there's nothing wrong with that. Every single day you're growing. Every single day you're making progress. As long as you're keeping in mind that you're going to break that habit of second fear. As long as that's your focus, man, you're making progress. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't beat yourself up. Don't give yourself too much shit. As long as that's your focus, you're doing good, right? You're doing good. And it might, it might seem like it's dragging on forever, that you just can't break this habit of second fear, but you will. As long as you keep that as your focus, you will. You will, you will, you will. Pat yourself on the back. Pat yourself on the back for being here and taking that step to learn, and just be proud of the progress that you've made, even if it's small. Even if it seems small, be proud of it. I love these lo-fi beats, dude. It's so calming and relaxing. See, I'm going to point something out, though. I'm going to point something out for you, King, real quick. So in your last comment, you said, God bless you, Wonder Bro. Even by listening to you, my symptoms go away immediately. So that's great. And I'm happy I can bring you that comfort. And I'm glad you're feeling better. But understand this. You want to get to a point where you no longer add second fear, so much so that you don't care if the symptoms are there, because you're no longer adding second fear. You're no longer scaring yourself over them, right? So I'm glad that I can bring you comfort, and I'm glad that I can ease your symptoms. But at the same time, you do want to practice enough to where you can get to the point that you stop scaring yourself about these symptoms, so much so that you don't care if they're there, because you no longer scare yourself over them, right? Kelly, thank you so much for subscribing. Welcome. Happy to see you. But yeah, basically, I just want you to understand, King, that you really need to get to a point where you have totally stopped adding second fear to the point that the symptoms are no longer something you wish to avoid because they don't scare you anymore because you're not scaring yourself over them, right? That's the point we want you to get to. And you will get to that point with enough time and enough practice. Everybody here in this chat will. Everybody watching this, whatever, whenever, you'll get to that point. As long as you keep your focus being breaking that habit of second fear. Thank you so much, Kelly, for subscribing. Thank you, JK Beats, for the $5 donation. And thank you, Tally, for the $6 donation. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your love and your support. If you're watching this right now and you haven't subscribed and you've been thinking about it for a while, now is your chance. Hit that subscribe button. We are almost at 9K subs. We are right around the corner, which means we are one giant step closer to 10K, and I am so excited for that. So excited for that, guys. I'm really sorry this is off topic, but I just want to remind you, you are so handsome. Thank you. For anyone who doesn't know, Faith is my lovely, beautiful, beautiful girlfriend. My dizziness has mainly gone, but often comes back when I drink alcohol or have too much coffee. Does this mean my nerves haven't healed yet, as I'm not back to what I once was? Drinking alcohol, the hangover's never fun, especially for someone who's sensitized or was once recently sensitized. So, as far as alcohol and too much caffeine goes, that's more of a physical thing. We can't really help that alcohol makes us feel this way. We can't really help that caffeine gives us energy. So, I mean, if you feel like these symptoms are causing your dizziness, maybe just lay off of them a bit, right? Because let's face the fact, too much caffeine and too much alcohol is not good for anybody, sensitized or not. I mean, it's just not good for anybody, right? Right? Please say something about social anxiety. Sometimes I repeat words two times, which makes me more anxious. So the thing about social anxiety and about being nervous around other people and about being afraid that you're coming off as awkward or, oh my God, what do they think of me? You're spending too much time in the head. And that's where social anxiety comes from. That's where basically any anxiety comes from. The things that you're telling yourself, right? So if you're worried about what other people are going to think of you, or if you're saying the right thing or doing the right thing in social situations, you're spending too much time in the head. Focus on being there. Focus on being there in the moment and not spending too much time worried about this or worried about that. And I know that's easier said than done. That's going to take some practice for you to do. The human problem is that we're too much in our heads, and that applies whether you're sensitized or not. So I understand that that'll take some time, but if you're suffering from social anxiety or just anxiety in general, it's because you're telling yourself things that your body does not agree with and that your body sees as a threat, right? And we know that the body sees negative thinking as a threat. It doesn't know any better. So if you're suffering from any form of anxiety, it's because of the things that you're telling yourself. Keep that in mind and work on that. Easier said than done, I know. Believe me, easier said than done, but keep that in mind. I am a fangirl. Faith is a fangirl. Faith is amazing. I used to be very funny before sensitization. You're still funny, Jesse. You crack me up every stream we do. Hey guys, what's up, Mary? It's good to see you. How you doing? Trying to be the old me so the brain gets it. Bible also advocates accept him as be still and know that I am God, and I'll be something among the nations. I'll be something in the earth. The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. So yeah, in every religion, right? And I don't care if you're religious or not. I'm not really going to get into whether I am or not, but I am going to tell you this. In every religion and every great spiritual teacher, they'll all try to teach you acceptance. Every religion, every great spiritual teacher, most of the time is going to try to teach you some form of acceptance. To stop talking to yourself in a negative way. to stop entertaining negative thoughts, to stop scaring yourself by telling yourself horror stories, and instead just be still. Stop talking to yourself. Stop adding second fear. Change your perspective. Every sort of religion or every great spiritual teacher is going to try to teach you that, because we create a lot of our own suffering just by the horror stories that we tell ourselves in our heads. And that is what second fear is. That is what Dr. Claire Weeks recognized. That is what all these great spiritual teachers recognize. We create our own suffering by the things that we tell ourselves, by the perspectives that we choose to adopt, right? Yeah, every great religious head and every great spiritual teacher is going to try to teach you that, because we create a lot of our own suffering. We create a lot of our own suffering. So it's time to work on that. It's time to work on that. Be more mindful of the way you're talking to yourself, because anxiety in any form, at the end of the day, simply put, is basically you scaring yourself with horror stories, whether it be about your symptoms or what might come of them, so on and so forth. Anxiety in any form at the end of the day is there because you are scaring yourself with what you're telling yourself. And that's it. To make it nice and simple for you, that's it. Okay, Harry, thank you so much for the follow. I believe that was on the Twitch channel. I appreciate that. I don't know if you're in the stream right now, but thank you so much for that. Alan Watts says that in a talk, I believe, about Buddha and Jesus. Yeah, exactly. Stop scaring yourself. At the end of the day, that's what the problem is. You are scaring yourself with the way that you're speaking to yourself, and as a result, you're getting more anxiety because the body doesn't know any better. And at the end of the day, that is probably the most simple way that you can put anxiety. Jesse. How's the puppy been, dude? I've been wondering. Very normal, common anxiety symptoms. Headaches, brain zaps. I have seen you just sit with his stream 6 times just to remind myself of it. Yeah, that was a great stream. Okay. I see what he was doing there, Kelly. Makes sense. How are you doing money-wise, bro? Sorry I haven't donated. Hey, man, no need to apologize. If you can't donate, you can't donate. It's okay. I totally understand. You don't have to apologize for that. You never have to apologize for that. I get it. Times are tough. All right, guys, 2 seconds. I never really had headaches. Everybody's symptom set can be a bit different, but at the end of the day, if it's anxiety, and it's treated the same way. And that's kind of the beautiful thing about it. It doesn't really matter what your symptom set is. If you're suffering from anxiety, it's treated the same. 2 main keys, baby. Baby. He's got paper, a bully exotic. He is smart but a handful. I love him, trying to teach him not to bark when going to bed. Tally, thank you so much for the $5 donation again from Tally. Thank you so much. Donating for Jesse on the live is the note with that donation. Tally just donated for Jesse. That is awesome. I love you guys. You guys are so nice. I appreciate you all. You didn't have to do that. Always optional. Always optional. You do not have to do that. Takes us to 16. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Yeah, please do not feel obligated to donate. If you can't donate, that's fine. Take care of yourself. Donations are always optional. That's why the streams are free. You can do a paid option, but I would never do that. I want everybody to have access to the advice whether they can donate or not. It does not matter. If you can't donate, please do not feel obligated to do so. Donations help, and I'm very grateful for them. But if you cannot afford to do so, please do not do it. Okay? Okay, guys? That's why the streams are free. But thank you so much for those of you who do that. I truly appreciate you, and I'm so grateful for you, and I can't express just how thankful I am. Thank you so much, Tally, JK, thank you guys. I've never seen anything so wholesome, right? That was so sweet of you, Tally. You got Jesse singing over here. Yeah, can we all show some love to Tally and JK and our supporters today? Thank you guys so much. Hey man, it starts with the inside, James. Everything else on the outside will take care of itself, but it starts with the inside. It starts with what message you're putting off. So do that inside work, and then I promise you that the outside stuff will fall into place. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take my word for it, but give it a try. Start to work on the inside and then watch if the outside changes for you or not. Yeah, don't take my word for it. Just do it for yourself. Hey, Craig, you should always listen to your doctor, man. Continue to take your medication. Listen to your doctor. Everybody should always listen to their doctor. Listen, okay? Listen to your doctor. Don't feel guilty, Craig. Don't feel guilty. There's nothing wrong with that. You can still work on the 2 main keys while taking medication. Does not matter. Does not matter. You're just stressing yourself out more and more. You're just making yourself less likely to have your nerves healed by the extra stress that you're adding to your nerves by opening the door to all those negative thoughts. You see where I'm going with this? See where I'm going with this? So it's never worth stressing over anything, because you're just making it worse for yourself. You're just stressing your nerves out further. You're just making yourself more uncomfortable. You're just hurting your nerves further. You're just stressing out to the point where it's even harder to make good decisions. I could go on and on and on about why stress is pointless. As human beings, it seems necessary, but it's anything but necessary. It's anything but necessary. Stress has never done anything for you, I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you, worry seems important, but it's never done anything for you. It makes you less likely to make good decisions. It stresses you out further, right? I understand that as a human, you are totally under the false belief that this worry is going to serve you, but I promise to you it is not. It is not in any way, shape, or form. It's putting you further back. It doesn't help or change anything. Yeah, I mean, if stress and worry changed anything, we'd be in a much different world, right? Then it would be useful, and everybody who's stressed or worried would be on cloud nine, but it doesn't work that way. In fact, stress and worry just makes it worse. It just puts you back further. If you want the outside reality to change, it starts with the inside. I promise you that. And you don't have to take my word for that. You can think I'm a total fucking nut job when I say that. But work on the inside. Work on the inside. And watch and see for yourself if the outside doesn't start to take care of itself. I promise you, this is how the universe works. We're not going to open this can of worms right now. We're not going to open this can of worms. You don't have to take it from me, though. Just give it a go. Work on the inside and see if the outside doesn't start to work out for you. Just give it a try. You don't have to listen to me. Just give it a try. Try it for yourself. Try it for yourself. See what happens. Exactly, Jesse. Exactly. Working on the inside, meaning not opening the door to negative intrusive thoughts, increasing your vibe, man, picking up that vibration. You are energy, and you are always putting off a certain vibration. Work on that vibration by not opening the door to thoughts that make you uncomfortable, by letting those negative intrusive thoughts just be there without getting involved, by doing things that make you happy, by getting on with life, by increasing your overall vibration, and you will see how the outside world responds to that, all right? If you're riddled with anxiety, work on the two main keys. Stop adding that second fear. Change your perspectives, right? Stop opening the door to negative intrusive thoughts. Work on that overall vibration and just watch how the outside world responds to that. Watch what happens at that point. Make your main goal working on the inside, and then watch how the outside falls into place. Like I said, I won't open that can of worms, but just give it a try. You don't have to take my word for it. Just make your main priority the inside, and then let the outside take care of itself. I could fall down a giant rabbit hole on that topic. We could be here all night on that topic of spirituality and vibrations and energy and universal law. But there's a couple reasons I don't do that. I don't want anyone out there to be like I once was and think, oh, this guy's a fucking nut job, right? Like I used to think people that spoke like that were totally off their rocker. So I keep it simple because I don't want people to jump to immature conclusions like that. And like I said, we would be here for hours. So just take it from me. Work on the outside, and you let the or work on the inside and let the outside take care of itself. There we go. It's a lot of insides and outsides. Work on the inside, let the outside take care of itself. My nose is so itchy. Preach, yes. I was starting to get my insides and outsides mixed up there for a second. Work on the inside and let the outside take care of itself. You don't have to believe me on that. We won't get into that. We would be here for hours as far as all that universal law talk goes. But just take it from me. Work on the inside. Don't worry about the outside, and everything will fall right into place. Craig, thank you so much for the $40 donation, Craig. Wow. Holy crap. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. Can we show some love to Craig in the chat, please? He didn't have to do that. Thank you so much, Craig, for the $40 donation, which puts us at a total of 56 for this stream. Thank you guys so much. You have smashed the tip goal, and I truly appreciate you guys for that. Thank you so much. That truly means a ton to me, and it really, really does help me out. So thank you so much. Craig, you will be re-entered into the tip ticker. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Stream MVP. Craig's going to take the top place here, and thank you so much, Craig. Thank you so much. Time for Chinese. It always means a ton to me, dude. It really does. I know sometimes I get a little carried away, but it means a ton to me that people come on here and they listen to what I have to say, and they choose me to be their source of inspiration and motivation, and you know that means a ton to me. And then they feel the need to donate. That, I don't know, it's touching. It's touching, and I just truly appreciate it. It's always optional, though. Please do not feel obligated, but yeah, it's really touching, and I appreciate it. I never thought we'd be at this point. I never thought anybody would listen to what I had to say, to be honest with you, much less feel the need to help support what I do. I never thought that would be a thing, so it still kind of blows my mind to today, and I'm just so thankful and so grateful for all of you. Hey bro, greetings from Ireland. What's up, John? Thanks for explaining what second fear is. Since I've started to become aware of second fear and how destructive it is, my life is changing slowly but surely. That is awesome, John. Okay, comparing that message right there that I just read to some of the comments that you made not even a month ago, I think. I don't know, my timeline's a little fuzzy, but comparing that message that I just read from you to some of the stuff you were saying not even a month ago, it's just a night and day difference. So proud of you. Congrats, and just keep going. Congrats, and just keep going. Night and day difference, man. It's not always going to be easy, but keep going. Hey, Wonder Bro in chat. What's up, Jess? You're welcome. Yes, thank you again, Craig, man. I truly appreciate it, dude. That's so awesome of you. There can only be one. Hey, if anybody in the chat right now is interested in joining us on Discord, we'd love to have you over there. Please feel free to join us. I'm going to post that link right now. It's completely free. I think we just surpassed 400 people over there. Looks like we got someone new in there tonight. We're at 360, 362, 363, 64, 65. We're at about 370 people right now in the Discord. So if you'd like to join us over there, try to be our lucky number 400. Feel free to join us over there. We would love to have you. 100%, brother, and thank you for explaining how important second fear is as a lifelong anxiety sufferer, man. It is so important. Shout out Dr. Claire Weeks. Second fear, so important. What is second fear? It's the way you talk to yourself. What is second fear? It's the way you talk to yourself about your symptoms. And why is it so important? Because the way you talk to yourself about your symptoms is going to determine whether or not you continue to sound that alarm unnecessarily. And that's going to determine whether or not your body continues to be in a state of stress and never gets to heal, or whether it starts to calm down because you're no longer spamming that alarm button, right, with second fear. So important. I'm glad you got the message, John. I'm glad you're improving, dude. Keep it up. Not always going to be easy. You're going to have days where you're really going to want to fall back into that second fear, but we need to eliminate that habit. And, bad habits don't die overnight. So just continue to practice, man. You're on the right track. Very, very proud of you. 2 seconds, chat. It's an anxiety symptom, Craig. It doesn't mean that necessarily anything else is happening behind the scenes. And that is a second fear way of thinking, right? That is a second fear way of thinking when you tell yourself horror stories about what could be happening due to your symptoms. That is a form of second fear. So the easiest way to describe second fear and the easiest way to remember second fear is that second fear is the way that you talk to yourself about your symptoms, right? And if it's in a worrisome or negative way, then you're adding second fear. You're stoking the fire. You're slowly starting to get the message, Craig. It's taking you some time, and that's fine. It took me some time. So you're slowly starting to get that message. You're slowly starting to kind of understand what second fear is. It is the way that you talk to yourself about your symptoms. We're planting these seeds, and just because it's taking you some time is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. The worst thing you can do is beat yourself up. Because what's the point? I mean, really, that's the question I have for you. What's the point? What is that going to accomplish, beating yourself up? You know what I mean? It's not going to accomplish anything. It's just going to make you more stressed out. So worst thing you can do. The best thing you can do for yourself is to continue to focus on and meditate on what second fear is and how it operates. And simply put, like I said, second fear is the way you talk to yourself about your symptoms. Second fear is the stories that you tell yourself. If they're negative in nature, then that's second fear. And that's why your nerves can't catch a break, because they're always having to sound the alarm, because you're always stoking the fire with second fear. How can a body heal itself if it's always being bombarded with second fear? How? So that's what we got to meditate on and truly start to understand how we're adding second fear with the stories that we're telling ourselves. So very important. And that's the number one lesson here on the channel is second fear. The 2 main keys, that's how you stop adding second fear. What are the 2 main keys? To accept the way you feel without talking to yourself negatively about it. All right, that's cutting out second fear. And stop opening the door to negative intrusive thoughts when they come, right? So there's 2 things there, and we try to make it as simple as possible. Negative intrusive thoughts, just roll your eyes. If you're adding second fear consciously by what you're telling yourself, that's the habit we got to cut out. Anxiety, explained in the simplest fashion, is basically summed up as you scaring yourself with horror stories. Keep it so sweet and simple, guys. Keep it so sweet and simple. There's no reason to not be sweet and simple. In fact, that's the problem with most people these days. They don't keep it sweet and simple. They don't keep it sweet and simple. Game and talk. I mean, I do have a Twitch channel. I haven't streamed on Twitch in quite some time, but if you're interested in gaming type stuff, you should check me out on Twitch. I believe it's Wonderbro Gaming, right? I don't even remember my own Twitch channel name. Wonderbro Gaming. There you go. We try to keep all the game related stuff over on the Twitch. All right, you guys, we're approaching 2.5 hours. This has been a very long stream, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you guys so much for your love, for your support, for being here. We're almost at 10K subs. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Great stream. If you missed it, all right, if you missed it, it will be uploaded. Thank you guys so much. I love you. You are the best. You are awesome. You are always welcomed here on the channel. Thank you for your support. Craig, Tally, JK, thank you so much for your generous donations. I appreciate you guys. And I appreciate you just for watching. Okay? So thank you so much. And until next time, as always, that was kind of a bad one. That was kind of a bad snap, so let's retry that. I can't get the snap down tonight. Let's do a knuckle crack here. We're just gonna have to go with a quieter knuckle snap tonight, I guess. Right there. All right, you guys. I love you, and stay awesome.